Alright, so Attack of the Vine, set 13 of Disney Lorcana comes out in about a week. And there's a lot of shift mechanics in the game now. And I've seen some people getting kind of confused because there's just a lot and they all have different rules and different targets and all these things. So I thought I'd actually just go through all of the different new shift mechanics and how they work exactly, including some of the rules clarifications that have happened, and just try and clear up a lot of the confusion around it. This topic was suggested by a local of mine, Jenny, so thank you, Jenny, for the suggestion for the video, and we'll just get right to it. Okay, so here is a list of all of the different shift mechanics that are going to exist post-rotation, so at the beginning of set 13. There are some other shift mechanics that existed prior to this, like universal shift, and I think there was another one, but I'm kind of blanking on what it was. But all of those cards are getting rotated out with the rotation that's happening in this set. So I don't think it's really, we don't really need to talk about them unless they come back up, but this is all of the ones that I could find that exist in the game at the start of our second rotation, if you want to call it that, at the start of set 13. Right at the beginning, I want to talk about this card. This is Morph, Little Imitator. He has one ability, which is Advanced Mimicry. You can shift any character on top of this character. This includes all shift variants. So if you're playing Morph in a deck and they have duo shift or any of the kinds of shifts, Morph, can act as any character in any of those shifts. Sort of like how the original Emerald Morph from set 3, I think it was, could act as any character. This one works basically the exact same way, but because the shift mechanics have gotten slightly more complex, I just wanted to note that yes, this can act as one of the characters you need, or and vice versa. I pretty sure it also can work for the very specific ones, like Madrigal and the Red Panda one, which we'll talk about. I believe that it works just based on the text of the Morph card, which says you can shift any character on top of this. So just keep in mind, Morph counts for all of it, for everything that we're going to talk about. The very first one, just to remind ourselves, if you've been playing the game a long time, you know this already, but the normal shift is just you play a character with the same name on top of a character with the same name, and you pay the shift cost, which is generally cheaper than whatever the cost of the character is fully. What I'm calling normal shift plus is the shift mechanic that exists on the team cards, and they actually have, if you look on their tags, they will have team, so it'll be multiple characters. It'll be like Miko and Pocahontas, or it'll be Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. So in this exact instance that I have here, we have Todd and Copper. Todd and Copper can be shifted on top of any card named Todd or Copper. You don't have to do both. If you just read the shift line text, it even says as much. Like this one says you can pay 2 to play this on top of one of your characters named Todd or Copper. Pretty self-explanatory, either or. You just basically, with this character, you get more targets to shift onto. Pretty simple. So we'll go to the next one. The next one I think is probably, I would say maybe the most complicated one, and that is duo shift. As far as I could tell, there's only one duo shift character in the entire game right now, and that is Mickey and Minnie Adventuring Duo, which is an Emerald Sapphire card. For duo shift, at least on this card, you pay 0, but you have to play it on top of 2 of your characters named Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. So this is where it gets a little complicated. It's not playing it either on Mickey or Minnie, it's both. So let's say you have Mickey and Minnie on the board, and you're going to shift this. You have to stack those cards on top of each other and then stack this one on top of both of them. The other thing that gets a little more complicated with this is that you need to, just like when you're shifting normally, you inherit all of the status conditions of the other card, you inherit all the damage, all of everything. The easiest way to remember this is to just take all of the bad. So let's assume your board looks like this. Let's assume Mickey is is ready. He has 2 damage on him. Let's assume Minnie Mouse is exerted. She has no damage. You want to shift Adventuring Duo on top of them. You need to take both of their negative effects on top of this. So when you shift, because Mickey is exerted, Mickey and Minnie have to be exerted as well. And because Mickey has damage, when you shift, you will take the damage like you would normally in a shift. But on top of that, because Minnie Mouse is exerted, that also means that Mickey and Minnie, when shifted in, will also be exerted. So just when you do this, just think of all of the negative effects that you could possibly have. It could be one of the characters was played this turn, and so they're not dry, and the other one is dry. When you shift in, they're not going to be dry because one of them was played this turn. That is something that could very well happen, especially when this shift costs 0. So keep in mind, this is probably the most complicated one, I would say, and it's not super complicated once you just think about it for a second and just read the card. You need to play it on both characters at once, and you have to inherit all of the negative effects and all of the damage and everything that goes with that. And that's basically it. Next we have Combo Shift, and I have this card on screen as an example. This is Sully and Boo. So unlike the other team cards, this one can be played on top of one of your characters named Sully or Boo, or you can do both. So you can sort of do the duo shift thing at the same time, or you can just do the singular. There are reasons. Some of the cards have reasons for maybe wanting to put more cards under them. There are other cards that might give you like greater bonuses for having, more cards under something. It could be a bounce effect, something along those lines. But just keep in mind that, like, again, if you get confused, just read the text very carefully. This one, you can shift on one character. You can shift on Sully or Boo, but you can also do both if you want. And there are possibly like interesting kind of board states where you might want to do that, or board states where you might not want to do that. So just keep that in mind. Combo shift, again, pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. The next one is Madrigal Shift, and I suspect you will not see this one a lot, and not because the card is like bad or anything. I just mean that it's probably not going to be on many cards, but it's good to keep it in mind. So this one involves a tag. So all of the Madrigal characters like Luisa, Isabella, Mirabelle, Alma, all of them, right? They all have the Madrigal tag because they're all part of the same family. That means that you can play this card, the family card, over any of those cards. That's essentially all it means. And there are some other instances that we're going to get into in a minute that are very similar to this, but just keep that in mind. And again, to reiterate, Morph works with this. I don't know how you would be playing Morph in a deck, though, like this, just because this is an Amber Sapphire cards. You need to be playing Amber Sapphire to actually do it. Unless you somehow draft both of them, then it works. Or if you're playing some weird other format where you can have multiple ink types, then it works. But just again, to reiterate, Morph works for all of these. This next one is Temporary Shift, which I think is a very interesting one. This one's on the Mei-Lin Lee card. And essentially what it does is you shift on top of Mei-Lin Lee with this card. You play out your turn. If this card survives, you remove all the damage from it, and then you put the popular Red Panda card in this exact instance back into your hand, but only that card. You keep the shift target on the field. So this one's not on a lot of cards, but it is on, I believe, some of the other Red Panda cards. So it is probably good to keep in mind, just because it seems like these cards are going to be fairly good. At least the Panda cards are going to be good in like Amber Ruby. So probably good to keep it in mind. But just remember, end of your turn, all damage needs to be removed, and then this card only gets taken off the top. Anything that's under it stays under it, basically. I also included this one just because it was very just crazy. There's temporary Red Panda shift, so I assume that maybe down the road There might be other temporary shift cards that involve like a specific keyword. So in this exact instance, you can only shift this Sunyi card on top of another red panda, but only temporarily. So at the end of your turn, again, you remove all damage. You take only this card from the stack of cards and put it into your hand. I just thought it was really interesting because it's such a long shift line, and it might trip some people up, maybe, just because it's a lot of text. So just keep that in mind. It's basically the same. It's just restricted to only red pandas, and if they ever do this again, it's going to work basically the same. This next one I think is fairly easy. This is Floodborn Shift. So the Vine card it is a Floodborn itself, but it has Floodborn Shift. You can play this on top of a Floodborn character, so that means that it needs to have the tag Floodborn. In the past, like in the first few sets, it was kind of easy to identify Floodborn because they were always the shifts, or the, you know, what you were shifting in, if that makes sense. Not the target itself, but like, let's say you were shifting like the Sully or whatever, right? Or that's a bad example. Shifting Robin Hood. How about that? You were shifting Robin Hood on turn 3 or whatever it was. The shift Robin Hood would be the Floodborn in that case. But because the definition of a Floodborn has sort of changed in the last bit, that's not always the case. There are a lot of shift characters now that are like Storyborn and other things that do not have Floodborn tags. So you actually do have to pay attention to the tags on the card. And this specifically means if the card itself has the tag Floodborn, you can turn it into the Vine. So like that Shift Robin Hood card, if you have that on the field, you can play this on top of it, because I'm pretty sure that is a Floodborn character, pretty sure. But another good example would be like the Bell Mystic. That is a Floodborn character. You could play this on top of her, essentially. But yeah, just be very, very aware of what the tags are. It is not, Floodborn does not mean that it just can shift anymore. That used to be the case. That's not really the case anymore. It's a very specific thing now. And the last one, which is, it had to come in here because it's so funny. This is Potato Shift. And you can only play this on top of one of your items named Potato. Again, Morph does work because Morph can be used for any shift target, but this is only really shifting onto potatoes. So I don't know how often you're ever going to see this. It's a little memey, but I thought I'd include it because it's funny, and it is technically one of the new shift mechanics. So there you go. So that's it for all the new shift mechanics coming in Attack of the Vine set 13. If there's anything I missed, or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm not like a judge or anything, but I feel like I have a fairly good grasp of the game and its mechanics. But a lot of the shift questions have been answered online in various Discords and other places. So you should be able to find the answer to what you're looking for, because there are some kind of weird edge case stuff that's happening in this set. But all in all, please remember to like, favorite, subscribe, all the good stuff. And let me know what cards you're excited about. Next week I should have, hopefully, a legendary review video. We'll do all of the legendaries and see where they land on our grading rubric and all that good stuff. But we still haven't seen them all, which is kind of shocking since it comes out next week. But hopefully next week we should have seen them all. So yeah, we'll do that, and see you guys later. Boy, love you.